Hello Blue Shell Review listeners. Right, what I'm doing today is Alex has set me and Chris and Craig a little challenge, saying that what we've got to do is go on the game store of our choice, whether it be Steam or PS4 store or Xbox Live store, whatever you want, and choose a game that costs less than £4 and then do a review on that game. So after much browsing, I've come across this that looked interesting. It's a game called Bastion, and it cost £3.29 on the PlayStation 4 store, and yeah, it's all new to me, so this is going to be a review which is going to be in stages as I play through it. So right, here we go.
Now here's a kid whose whole world got all twisted, leaving him stranded on a rock in the sky.
So yeah, as I was saying, I have played it a little bit, but I'm going back to the very beginning now, just for the purpose of this review. And as you've probably just heard, that's if all my sounds are set up correctly, there's a narrator. He seems to accompany you through the majority of the game, and he's quite good, he's quite witty, so you might do things like, if you die in a certain way, or you know, you do something stupid like fall off a ledge, that narrator will make little comments. And he's also quite helpful, because if you're sort of wandering around wondering what to do next, it gives you little hints about where to go and things like that. So you know, I thought that was a nice little touch.
Gets up, sets off for the Bastion, where everyone agreed to go in case of trouble.
Things like that, you know, you move and the guy basically says he gets up, and you play as who all I can make out is just referred to as the kid. Not actually found out his name yet. And as you can see, it's got this really unique graphical style. And apologies, because it's my first review, so I do struggle to actually play a game whilst concentrating on what I'm saying.
Ground forms up under his feet as it point the way. He don't stop to wonder why. Finds his lifelong friend just lying in the road. Well, it's a touching reunion.
So yeah, it starts off as a bit of a sort of hack and slash style.
Years of work undone in an instant, in the calamity.
With this really unique thing where the ground seems to sort of present itself underneath you as you walk along, which I thought was quite a cool little feature. I'm also drawn in by the very colourful and, as I said, very unique graphic style. Not really knowing what's going on, but it becomes that you travel to this place called the Bastion, hence the name of the game, which is like your hub world. It's a sort of centre world that you keep returning to whilst you go off to these other levels. So as I say, it seems that you wake up not knowing what's going on. There's some sort of, as the narrator's just said there, the calamity has happened, which has resulted in a lot of people dying, and you've got to travel around, figure out what's going on, and no doubt there'll be some sort of big boss bad guy showdown at the end or something like that. So now I've got an axe, a shield, and a gun. So there's a brief intro to it. What I'm going to do is leave it here and then come back when I get a little bit further into it and I know what's going on. So there we go. So here we are, a little bit further into the game. Basically, as it seems, you occasionally get these distilleries and arsenals, and it seems like at certain points in the game you can choose to build them yourself. You go into the distillery, you basically get to choose potions that you can take, you know, health potions or things that give you certain perks, and as you'd expect, your arsenal is where you get to choose which weapons go into which slot. And I've also gained a special ability but all these are kind of things that you can't just use them freely. You know, I can't just keep bashing the special ability button, because you have to use these tonics to every time you want to use your special ability. So I'm off to get the butt kicked again.
Some of them squirts birthing like crazy in a couple of corners.
I get the feeling that what this is going to be is these are just going to be the smallest, easiest bad guys to defeat, and it's going to get a lot more difficult. Well, I've already seen evidence of that. So yes, as I say, very hack and slashy style, which to me is a good thing. I've always enjoyed those kind of games. Graphical style, big thumbs up for that. The difficulty is something that I'm going to comment on a bit later on, because I'm hopefully going to get a bit better at it, and actually it's going to become muscle memory where that roll out of the way button is, because it really isn't at the minute. And also I keep forgetting that I've got a shield, so how about I start using that? And I've also just figured out that if you smash that thing, they'll stop coming out of it. A bit slow on the uptake with some of these things. So yes, it's certainly got me intrigued thus far, I will say that. I'm wondering how much the gameplay varies, how many times I'm going to fall off a ledge like that. Alright, let's see what this big bow has, what effect it has on a big guy. Oh, there we go. See, useful on big enemies, like I suspected. Hello again. Right then, here we are a good few hours into the game, and this is me wandering around the aforementioned Bastion. What this is, as I said before, it serves as a sort of central hub where you've got all your usual sort of things like your armory and things like that, which are all pretty standard stuff. But then you've also got a couple of surprise things that they've thrown in there, like you get this shrine, which you've actually got the option of going into this shrine and activating certain things that make the game harder, would you believe? But the payoff is, with all the enemies being tougher, that you actually get more rewards. So you get more money and more perks and things like that from defeating the enemies. And it actually makes it a lot more interesting. So there's a lot more to the game than the first appears. Here we go on my little world map, which by the way is the only map that you get in the game. Once you go into a level, you don't actually have the map of that level, which I find slightly frustrating. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, when's this guy going to actually review the game, seeing as he's called it a review? All he's doing so far is just playing it and waffling on and on. Right, well, I've done a good few hours into it now, and I would say that makes me qualified to pass an opinion. So, some views, I'm going to divide it into, you know, pros and cons. It's mostly pros, I'd say. So, I'd say that, as mentioned before, graphic style, I've said that a few times, you know, really good. The music's really good. The voice work, what there is of it, is really good. The narrator, you know, that's a really appealing feature. In fact, without the narrator, it'd probably be pretty boring, dare I say.
The windbags ain't so lucky.
And the only reason I say that is because, yeah, there's a story there, but the story, it's... you're not really become emotionally attached to it. Let me just say that. You know, you're probably not going to be that bothered. It's more about the action and the combat and things like that. The combat's quite addictive. There's much more to the game as you get further on. You know, it opens up and it reveals, you know, there's quite a few different features. You've even got these things called proving grounds, which are like little challenge rooms that you can go into. So you can test out each weapon and complete challenges involving that particular weapon, which unlocks your rewards and stuff, so that's good. Like I say, the story, that's a downside. I'm not saying it's a bad story, it's just a bit, you know, it's neither here or there. Difficulty can be one thing which can be taken or viewed one way or the other.
They've been left to freeze. superstar.
What I mean by that is that it's a tough game. Trophy-wise, from someone that is quite a trophy hunter, this is not an easy platinum trophy. It's a good list. It's just not an easy list. It's a very challenging game. So, as I say, more good points than bad points. I'd say other good points are that your upgrades and your reward system is very well done. What I mean is, with all your rewards and different weapon upgrades and stuff, it's done in such a way that you're constantly changing your loadout and your upgrades and things to see what works best for you in certain combat situations. So, you know, that's quite well thought out. Variation in enemies, you know, there's a lot of variation in enemy types as you go through the game. I will say that. Like I say, it's a good trophy list, it's just really not a bloody easy one. So yeah, all those are good things. Bad things, as I've just kind of been demonstrating there, when you aim your weapon, this is just nitpicking really, but when you aim your weapon, it's got this kind of auto aim system that kind of just chooses for you which enemies you're going to aim your weapon at, which is fine when there's only like one enemy on the screen. It's just going to shoot at him. That's fine, but if there's multiple enemies on the screen, you don't get to choose which one you're firing your enemy at. It just kind of chooses that for you. So, wasn't really too keen on that. Like I say, other things, bit of a lack of story, or lack of something that you're going to be that bothered about, really. And other things, probably again just nitpicking the fact that there's no map. There's an overworld view map that shows you where all the levels are and things, but then once I get into an area like this, I've not got a map of it, so it could lead to some confusion. Well, it has led to some confusion for me, but there you go. Probably about three things that I'd list as bad points and about 7 or 8 things that I'd list as good points. So overall, I think I'm qualified. Spent enough time on it now to give this a score, and my score is going to be 7.5 out of 10. So, yes, I can certainly say that I'm interested enough to see this through to the end. So that's definitely a good thing. So, hope you've enjoyed my first review, and thanks for listening.